Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is Mike. Goddamn, such a habit. I'm going to stop saying this is Mike here before long. So it's Sunday morning here in Texas, real early, probably Monday morning in Australia and those parts. So I got a request from Rob Linnell, and he's got 3 requests. One of them is Black Sorrows, Never Let Me Go, and that's the one I got keyed up here now. So I've reacted to the Black Sorrows before, and from what I remember, I liked them. So I don't know what this one's about. This is from 1991. It's the official video. So let's go into the intro and right into the music. Here we go, y'all.
Get a message, baby, now you see where you are. Just hear that wheel rolling down the track. Ain't no use in you just turning your back. The wind's rocking the cradle above. The years ain't the season or the summer of love. Now if you think you got it together, there's one thing that you ought to know. You never let me go. Don't need another love to tie me down. Don't want no whispers about you leaving this town. You might be ready for the show to begin. I ain't got time for any innocent thing. Now if you think you got it together, Lord, there's one thing that you should know. You'll never let me go. You'll never let me go. I said you never let me go. No, you never let me go. No, you never let me go. Don't need another weight around my neck. No, I don't want no two-timing nervous wreck. No rich boy to drive my car. Get a message, baby, now you see where you are. You hear that wheel rolling down the track. No, there ain't no use, and you just turning your back. And it's rocking the cradle of love. This ain't the season or the summer of love. Now if you think you got it together, Lord, there's one thing that you ought to know. You never let me go.
Okay, gotta pause it. I went back 10 seconds. Yeah, so this reminds me why I like the Black Sorrows. This girl right here has got some chops on her, and it's a pretty bitchin' song too, man, from 1991. You know, I've said it before on here. Up until just a few years ago, I've always had. Usually, it's a Harley Heritage Classic. It's a Softail, and I don't have one now. I thought I would miss it more than I do when I sold my last one, and it just got too crazy out there, man. But and my wife, which y'all know means the world to me, she would go a couple of times, and it was just great for me. But for her, I mean, she faked it, don't get me wrong, But for her, she was nervous because, you know, you're literally putting your life in somebody else's hand. And I told her, I totally get it, man, because I don't think I could ride on the back of somebody either, you know, on the back of a motorcycle, you know, like she said, you know, putting your life in somebody else's hand, you know, anything could happen. I mean, she trusts me 100%, but anything could happen, and she'd have no control over it. She'd just have to ride it out. So then it got to be to where I was such a lone rider because, you know, I was in a couple of clubs leading up to me just distancing myself from the clubs because we literally couldn't ride. When you're in a club, you got 30 guys and their wives or their girlfriends or whatever, and we ride for, you know, 20, 30 minutes, and they all want to stop and eat somewhere, and then it takes you 2 hours to get that many people served and eat. And then by that time that's all done, everybody's feeling kind of full, and they just, you know, hey, let's just ride this other way home. And, you know, you're 30 minutes and you're done, and you've blown the whole day just really going to a restaurant. And once I started just riding by myself, man, I would put in, you know, 500 to 600 miles a day because that's what I like to do. I like to ride, but it just got to be too dangerous, man. Too many people out there. I don't think anybody's working. So all these cars out there every day, all hours of the day, and it just and she wouldn't go with me, you know, without me begging, and so yeah, we just cut it down. I've got my old truck. My old truck gives me that same feeling of freedom. And y'all know she doesn't go with me in that old truck either. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too loud, it's too bumpy. I'd just soon leave her butt at home, man, and just go. But this song right here, she's talking about the bad boy. You know, all the girls just love to get with a bad boy, and it just wasn't working out for her. So she's singing about it. At least that's the take I'm getting.
Lord, there's one thing that you ought to know. You never let me go. You never let me go. You got it together. Lord, there's one thing that you should know. You'll never let me go. You'll never let me go. Don't want no two-timing nervous.
There's nothing like the sound of a Harley, though. But you don't want an expensive motorcycle just sitting in your garage. And that was another main reason to sell it, because I got to where I just didn't ride it as often as you should when you have a motorcycle that costs you almost as much as a car. At least it did back then. I think cars are so expensive now that you know, they've outpaced the motorcycles again. But you know, 20 years ago, you'd buy a car for $20,000 or you buy a motorcycle for $18,000. And so when you had that kind of investment in it, you know, you really need to enjoy it. You need to use it. You know, it was simply for enjoyment. You know, I didn't use it. I wasn't forced to have to go back and forth to work with it. You know, when I was younger, I couldn't afford a car and a motorcycle. So I had a motorcycle, and if it rained, I was riding that motorcycle to work. If it snowed, I was riding that motorcycle to work. And but it all paid off on the beautiful clear days. So make a long story short, I don't know why I'm making this more out of motorcycles and other than instead of this lady's vocals. I think I need to get back on that. But yes, Black Sorrows are a great group, and I brought it up here. It says the Black Sorrows are an Australian blues rock band formed in 1983 by mainstay vocalist Joe Camarelli, who also plays saxophone and guitar. Camarelli has used various lineups to record 17 albums. So yeah, they're pretty prolific. They're still going apparently from 1983 to today, and yeah, they got staying power. You know, that's how you really can gauge how prolific a band is if they're around after 40, I don't know, 2 years, 43 years, somewhere around that. Then they hit the right formula for whatever that is. And it shows in just in this one vocal setup. It doesn't say who the lady is. I'm looking up here. It doesn't say. Y'all would know because that's how y'all are with your music down there. You guys intimately know these people, and I think that's pretty bitchin' by itself. So that's going to do it for me, y'all. Until I see y'all again, I'll catch you down the road. If I can find a picture of my motorcycle, or me on my motorcycle, so then I'll include it right before this outro. But for now, I'll just go right into this outro, and I'll see you guys on the next one.